After Adam and Eve were sent out from the Garden of Eden, life became difficult upon the earth. The ground no longer yielded food easily, and survival required patience, strength, and daily labor. Adam worked tirelessly under the sun, breaking hard soil with his hands and simple tools. Eve labored beside him, planting seeds, gathering food, and caring for their growing family. Together they learned to live by sweat and endurance, trusting God even outside the garden they once knew. In time, Eve gave birth to her first son and named him Cain. She said, "With the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man." Later, she gave birth to another son, Abel. The two brothers grew up in the same household, but followed different paths as they became men. Cain became a worker of the ground, just as his father Adam had been. Each day he tilled the soil, planted crops, and watched over the fields that provided food for the family. Abel, however, became a keeper of sheep. He guided flocks across open land, protecting them and ensuring they found pasture and water. Seasons passed, and both brothers labored faithfully in their work. When the time came to present offerings to the Lord, each man brought something from the results of his labor. Cain brought an offering from the fruits of the soil he had cultivated. Abel brought the firstborn of his flock, choosing the finest portions from among his animals. The Lord looked with favor upon Abel and his offering, but upon Cain and his offering he did not look with favor. Cain became very angry, and his face fell. Seeing Cain's anger, the Lord spoke to him and said, "Why are you angry? Why has your face fallen? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it." Cain heard these words, yet anger continued to grow within him. Later, Cain spoke to his brother Abel while they were in the field together. Away from others, surrounded by open land and silence, Cain rose up against Abel and killed him. Afterward, the Lord said to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" Cain replied, "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?" Then the Lord said, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand." The Lord declared that when Cain worked the soil, it would no longer yield its strength to him. Cain would become a restless wanderer upon the earth. Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is greater than I can bear. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. Whoever finds me will kill me." But the Lord showed mercy, even in judgment. He said, "Not so. Anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times over." Then the Lord placed a mark on Cain, so that no one who found him would kill him. Cain went away from the presence of the Lord and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. There, Cain built a city and named it after his son Enoch. Generations followed, and his descendants spread across the land. Some became herders who lived in tents, others learned music and crafted instruments, and others forged tools from bronze and iron. As humanity increased upon the earth, violence and struggle also grew among people. Yet life continued, and families multiplied. Adam and Eve later had another son and named him Seth, saying that God had granted them another child in place of Abel, whom Cain had killed. To Seth also a son was born, and he named him Enosh. During this time, people began to call upon the name of the Lord. The story of Cain and Abel became a lasting reminder among generations that obedience matters more than offering alone, that anger left unchecked leads to destruction, and that even in judgment, God remembers mercy. From the first family came both tragedy and hope. Humanity learned that choices carry consequences, but also that God continues his purpose through those who seek him. And so the earth continued to be filled with people who worked the land, raised families, and called upon the Lord, remembering both the sorrow of Abel and the warning given to Cain.